everyone, welcome back to Rays of Tarot and welcome if you are new. My name is Stella and in today's Thick Pile reading we are going to dive pretty deep into the question, is this friendship that exists currently between you and the person that you are inquiring about, is it going to develop into something more? Okay, so that is pretty exciting. We are going to dive a little bit pretty much in depth as we like doing here on this channel. There will be an extended, which I will explain in a minute, but what we're going to do on the YouTube part of the reading, we are going to look into a person A versus person B format type of thing. So that is, I guess, a little disclaimer. If you don't like person A versus person B format readings, then I guess this reading is just not for you. But it is definitely for those who like that type of readings. There's a ton of readers out there who just read from one person's perspective. I know I like to alternate. I like to do these person A versus person B format readings a lot. And I know there's a lot of you who also enjoy these readings. So that's that. But what we're going to do is we are going to first, through some pre-shuffled oracles, look into the energy that exists at this time or at the time that you're finding this video, because of course, as per usual, these readings are timeless, so they should be good for whenever they find you. We are going to look a little bit into the energy that exists between the two of you, as well as individually with one another and towards one another. And then we are going to dive a little bit more in depth with the tarot, asking the question, is this going to develop into more? Then afterwards, we're going to take some channeled messages as well as advice and predictions, or I guess, well, yeah, Moonology. The Moonology deck is a kind of like a predictions/advice type of deck. And then in the extended, we are going to look into the 18 plus sexual naughty energy between the two of you. So either about your first encounter, whatever it is that, like first encounter in that sense, or just the general energy that would exist between the two of you in the bedroom or whatever it is that you want to do it. So that is that. We do have 3 piles today. We do have pile 1 with the Cosma Vision Tarot, which is technically they refer to it as a oracle deck because it has some twists here and there, but that's besides the point. We do have pile 1 is the Cosma Vision Tarot with this Labradorite crystal right here. Then pile 2 is the Fountain Tarot with this blue Jamaican Calcite tower. And pile 3 will be the White Sage Tarot with this white calcite that I found myself personally in the forest while walking, and I'm very proud of this find. As per usual, all the disclaimers and the information that you need to keep in mind is written down below in the description box as well as in the pinned comment. The only thing that I will limit myself to say is that you should be able to use your own discernment. You will know you're following your intuition and your own inner guidance system, and honestly your rationality as well, which messages are for you and which ones aren't. If you're not able to use your own discernment, then you should probably not be watching tarot readings on YouTube. That being said, thank you so much for being here. Definitely, as per usual, it's more than normal than to feel attracted to more than one pile, so do as you please, watch them all, watch like half of it, whatever, do whatever you feel called to. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in your pile. Have fun! If you chose the Labradorite Palm Stone as well as the Cosma Vision Tarot, this is going to be a reading, and I am so very excited to get into this. Now, before I start doing anything here, I want to say that this tarot deck is actually referred to as an oracle deck because it has a little slightly, I mean, it is the same system as the standard Rider-Waite Smith Tarot, but the major arcana have like different names. So I have a little cheat sheet on the side as well as the court cards, like they're just called very differently. They're not called like Knight of Wands. They're called things like the Wanderer and the Dreamer and things like that. So I will, if those cards pop out, I will just have to look real quick what they are. But yeah, that is a little disclaimer. What we're going to do, for those of you who skipped the intro, we're going to look into a person A versus person B type of thing format. So it is up to you to decide or understand who is who. Like, it is totally normal to find a little bit both of your energies in both sides. If it's confusing, it shouldn't be. Like, use your own discernment. Truthfully, with lots of love. But yeah, we will look into the two different energies of the people involved in this connection, so you and your person, as well as connecting energies. And then this part will be just essentially for you to see if this is the right pile for you, and to establish like just the energies between the two of you towards each other. Then afterwards, when we have looked into the oracles, we will dive a little bit deeper into the tarot and ask the actual question, like, will this friendship develop into something more? And afterwards, at the end of this reading, we're going to take some channeled messages as well as advice, and then we are going to take it into the extended, which will all be about the sexual energy between the two of you. So like, this could be like your first sexual encounter, or like perhaps your person's like 18 plus desires and fantasies about you and things like that, or just the general sexual energy that will exist between the two of you, if and when and if it will ever go towards that type of direction. Okay, so without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. Person A is described by the energy of the deer, with love. Be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. Then for person A, we have yang energy with proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. The signs on here are Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sag, and Aquarius. Let me see if I put the stone here. Can you still see it? Yep, you can. Perfect. The next for person A, we have number 15 with hiding. Then we have trickery with the heart chakra. And we have the sustainer archetype with number 24. Put that here. Then for the connecting energies of your connection itself, we have a masculine energy. Then with this deck, for this card, I asked like a positive light attribute that is sort of empowering this connection and bringing you guys closer. And we got number 44 or 8 with universal love. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and the whole of existence itself. And for this card, I asked about something that is either blocking or hindering or challenging this connection. And we got self-esteem with I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Then for person B, we have the dog with friend. Today I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and a friend. Then for person B, we have the 5th house with passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. And we have number 16 with justice. Then we have the crown chakra with destiny. My hand's a little shaky and I don't know why. The last but not least, for person B, we have number 25 with the healer. So the very first thing that I'm being called to notice for this pile 1, is that you have subsequential numbers. What is that word? Subsequent numbers. We have 15 and 16, and then we have 24 and 25. And these decks are like thoroughly shuffled. Like, they have been used for a gazillion years. Well, that's not true. For a couple months, for sure. And they've been shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. So it's not like, they're just not shuffled or anything like that. So that is interesting. I don't know what it means right now. Maybe it will come out later, maybe it won't. But usually when this happens, it's like progression. But the thing is, like, we have both like the lower numbers on person A side and the higher numbers on person's B side, which is also interesting because I'm not getting like a disparity between this person is like further in their spiritual journey and person A is a little bit behind or anything like that. Not at all. But we will see if something has to come out about that. I want to start with the connecting energies because you guys are connected by masculine energy. Now, the first thing that came into mind in terms of like a specific scenario that you guys might be in is that you guys are like in the same friendship group, and that you guys might actually both be very strongly in your masculine energy when you guys are with each other. And let me explain, this doesn't have to mean that you guys both are males or that you identify someone like with a lot of masculine energy, but just with each other you might be the vibe that I'm getting is just like being bros, being buddies, you know, being like fucking around together, like perhaps doing things like drinking and partying together, and just being very very playful and joking with each other a lot, things like that. Just a lot of banter essentially. Like there's definitely a very good friendship here for sure. And also a lot of deeper things which we will go into in a minute. This is I want to say like this energy that I'm reading into is like such a beautiful connection. Like it's so versatile and multifaceted. It's actually freaking it's beautiful. I love it. I kind of ship you guys. But okay, it's also interesting that on this side, which I am getting a little bit more of a feminine energy on this, on the dear person side, altogether. Um, I mean, the person A or the dear person might identify someone who is quite androgynous in terms of energy, quite like 50-50 masculine and feminine, whereas person B to me comes across a little bit more as masculine energy. Although there's a lot of like creative energy, like sexual energy, sacral chakra energy on this side as well, like spiritual energy as well. So I feel like you both might identify as people who are a little bit 50-50, a little bit fluid in that sense, regardless of what your actual gender expression is, or what your gender identity is, or sexuality, whatever. Where do we even start? I want to say, just very straightforwardly, like both these people have definitely deeper feelings for each other, but there might be some uncertainty and insecurity about what if it goes wrong and what if we ruin things. Like there's this energy that manifests in quite similar ways, but like the same energy that manifests in quite different ways from each other, and we will get into it as we go into the individual energies. But I was talking about the connecting energies. So the positive aspect that is sort of like uplifting and elevating this connection between the two of you is the energy of universal love with 44. So, and it's also interesting because we have the deer with love, which also says like you heal with the power of love, and then we have the healer on this side, and then we have the dog on the person B side, which says I will love without condition. So if there's one thing that is so like for sure existing between the two of you, is just like this unconditional love, like unconditional appreciation for each other, unconditional caring for each other, like no matter what this connection looks like practically or not, like no matter if you guys stay friends forever, no matter if you guys like end up marrying each other or whatever, this is the energy. Literally just like there is so much caring and just so much like innocent love for each other, like true caring. It's not like, oh, I'm in love with you and I have these like rose colored glasses on and like you look like this angelic person to me, and like you're like pedestal energy. No, this is like very grounded, very real, profound, deep love. Like it would not surprise me if you guys have been friends for a very long time, like for a very 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 long time, and then in terms of like you guys have been like perhaps like grown up together, or like you guys went to school together, or you guys like worked together, like you guys spent a lot of time together, so that you also got to know each other very well. Like both in group settings as well as like one-on-one. This doesn't have to resonate for everyone, but I feel like for a lot of you this will be the case. And yeah, this self-esteem card coming out with I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. I feel like there is this distrust in your own, indeed your own ability to not fuck this up if you take it like the next level. First of all, I want to say that like when people say things like be something more than friends or whatever, like it's not that like romantic love is more than a friendship. Friendship, like platonic friendships, can be so freaking powerful and pure, and a lot of the time that is because there's so little, like there's less attachment and less like expectations for the other person to like meet your needs. So friendships can be the most like actually truly unconditionally loving and pure forms of connections that there are. So it's not that it's like if it's a friendship, it's like less than a romantic love, and if it's like it only is at the maximum of its expression when it is also like a romantic and or sexual type of thing, like not at all. Which I do feel like, since I felt the need to bring this up, I do feel like a lot of you will realize this. But I feel like definitely with the self-esteem card coming out as like the thing that is blocking you guys, or like that is kind of like hindering or challenging, if you will, this connection from sort of like, are we rolling? Yeah, 11 minutes. There's this feeling on both sides of like, what if taking it to the next level will like ruin things? Like, we don't want to ruin things. I just care about this other person so much, and I would rather it stay like this and stay well forever than sort of like taking it a little step further and ruining things and potentially just like losing this connection. Because neither of you wants to lose the connection. Like, that's for freaking sure. Like, you guys both want to be in each other's life. You guys want to be connected with each other. You guys feel connected. Like, you guys have this very strong bond that is like so, it runs really deep. It runs really freaking deep, and you guys know how much you mean to each other. Like, you might be best friends or something like that. I don't know what this is, but there's definitely a lot of comfort with one another, and a lot of trust. But at the same time, indeed, there's this lack of trust within oneself of like being like, yeah, I don't know how like the other person feels, and I don't want to potentially ruin things. That is also why we have, it's so interesting that we have like the hiding card on this side and the justice side on this card, because I do feel like person A, or the dear person, if you guys have talked about it, or if you guys have like sort of like sarcastically or like ironically sort of like jokingly talked about it or something like that, about like potentially being something more, I do feel like the dear person will either think or literally say out loud things like, oh yeah, like we shouldn't, because, you know, we have been such good friends, we're basically almost like bros and sisters or whatever. We should not, like, they kind of downplay how much the dog person means to them. And on the other side, the dog person will kind of, I don't know what the term is, but the dog person will literally just be like very agreeable, in the sense like whatever the dear person says, the dog person will be like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is because the dog person, whenever the dear person might say or act like you guys are like just like quote unquote marks, just friends, the dear person is kind of downplaying their feelings and desires for this connection. And the dog person takes that as the dear person stating, oh no, this is what I want, like I don't want anything more. But that's not what the dear person is actually saying. What the dear person is actually saying is like, oh yeah, we shouldn't risk this, basically. We shouldn't risk this. Because the dear person definitely has very much deeper feelings with this hiding. And also with this trickery hard card thing. Like they kind of trick themselves by not being fully honest about their feelings, because there is a degree of sadness slash sorrow slash pain coming from this dear person dear person, because they do have these untapped in feelings and unexpressed feelings, and perhaps like desires and fantasies about like something more with this dog person. And by not allowing themselves, which of course this is not a judgment, because of course if this is such a beautiful friendship already, like of course you're going to be scared to like lose that or anything. But with this trickery and hiding card coming out for the dear person, it really shows that this person is not being very transparent about the truth and the depth of the feelings that they have for the dog person. They're definitely someone who downplays it a lot, and I do feel like they might act like this dear person. They might act in a indeed like more masculine, more like more proactive, more forward, more Mars type of energy towards the dog person as well. Whereas deep down they have this very, very soft, loving, tender, feminine energy to them, especially when it comes to the dog person. It's also interesting that the deer person, like person A, had to come through as the deer, because there is definitely some degree of like, I would say it doesn't have to be, it could be flip-flop, but for what I'm feeling right now, the dog person might be a little bit more on the anxious side of the spectrum of the attachment spectrum, whereas the deer might be a little bit more on the escapist or like avoidant type. Although I'm not getting this extremely, so it could literally just be like a mix and match, or it could be whatever, it could be anything. But the deer, you know the expression like a deer in headlights or something like that, which is essentially like a deer, when they see something scary, they just freeze, and then suddenly they sort of like flee. This is essentially how this person might feel towards the dog person, and the deep connection, the deep feelings that they have for this dog person. Because they see the depth and the potential of this, but they just don't know how to act on it. They sort of like frozen. They're terrified of doing something wrong or making the wrong move. And on other moments, like when indeed they're hiding their feelings, when they might perhaps even have these deeper, more painful feelings towards the dog person coming up, and like this feeling of like, oh my god, like why does it couldn't it be easier, and why do I have to complicate myself in this connection with deeper feelings? Oh my god, like they're kind of beating themselves up and not showing that part of themselves to the dog person. Like they might suffer in silence essentially about this, their feelings and their I just heard unreciprocated feelings, which I'm not necessarily getting that this dog person doesn't have feelings. Like what I'm getting is that these feelings have not been, you guys have not like laid all your cards on the table yet. Like, so you guys have not been straightforward to each other about the true real depth of the feelings and the connection that you feel with each other, and the desire of something more and something deeper here. The dog person, on the other hand, it's so interesting that I'm being called to notice like that this card, like the dog person, this card reads, I'm a protector and a friend, and here we have the sustainer, which is all about like, look at this picture, this hand kind of holding this thing, which is, the sustainer is also all about like providing and protecting and embracing and cherishing and keeping something safe. So you guys definitely both have this strong desire to keep this connection safe and keep each other in each other's lives. I do feel like this dog person indeed, they might have, I do feel like the deer person is a little bit more on the emotional side. Like they might bask a lot in their own emotions, although like within themselves, like they might not disclose a lot of their emotions, also because they do show up as this yang energy, this masculine energy. The dog person might, on the other hand, not be so much like the emotional type of person. And with this, I'm not saying that they don't have any emotions or anything like that. It's just like they don't, like they might have a lot of air and or fire placements, or earth perhaps, just not a lot of water perhaps, or just not really act a lot in terms of, they're just not super in touch with their emotions. Like they don't act or live based on what their emotions or like their emotional body is telling them. Although they do have this healer energy, which is all about transforming and looking inside of you, and there's definitely a lot about like inner wisdom and looking inwards for this person, for the dog person. I do feel like this dog person perhaps might have a lot of insight on why they might have done, like I'm getting a lot of like inner child work with this fifth house card. This person might have Scorpio and or Aquarius placements perhaps, or Pisces I'm getting, because I must admit, like this person, the dog person, is a little bit harder to read into. And that also leads me to say that this person is probably between the two of you, the one who is a little bit more, like the word that just came to me is like a little bit more passive when it comes to pursuing something more. Like perhaps I could see the deer person sort of like jokingly, like being a little bit more joking, a little bit more, just like testing the water sometimes here and there, and the dog person being kind of like either unresponsive because they don't know how to respond, or being unresponsive to that because they feel like the person A, or like the deer person is joking, and just like they don't know what to do with that, and just very like they're just very agreeable in that sense. They just like, if some other people are in the picture and some other friends talk the dog person like out of kind of wanting to pursue something more with the deer person, the dog person might be like, oh yeah, you're right, like you're definitely right. Like they might also definitely have Libra placements. The doesn't have to be. Take it as a confirmation if that is the case. I'm getting also Virgo right now, because this dog person definitely has... I'm getting a lot of different energies, actually. Like, I know I said, like, already, like, earth, fire, and air, essentially. But I'm getting, like, someone who is a little bit more still. Like, this dear person might be a little bit more on the nervous, anxious type of... Although I said that they're... Not in terms of their attachment style, but just in terms of, like, how they are as a person. Like, they might just have a little bit more of an activated and triggered nervous system, if that makes sense. Mercury placements could be. But this dog person is just very, I want to say, painfully aware of things and of their own inner patterns and their own, like, perhaps why they even had to, like, attract this type of connection. They're really aware. I do feel like this person, like the dog person, might be someone who is actually very spiritual, and spiritually inclined and spiritually aware, but they might not show that a lot. Like, they might just be very much like a non-spiritual passing, if that makes sense. And be a little bit more like, they might have like an earth rising, perhaps. This dog person definitely might come across as like the typical resting bitch face. While I do feel like the deer person is a little bit more on the cute, soft, bubbly type of side of exteriors, if that makes sense. This dog person is definitely less communicative, less expressive in that sense. Because this fifth house card to me is really coming across as something that is more of like an inner world thing for them, and not so much about like actually expressing this. Like, if they do something like art or whatever, they don't do it like publicly, if that makes sense. They literally just like do it for themselves. They might write poetry, write stories or something like that, but they just do it for themselves, so like their own inner processes. They're not super out there, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's definitely some degree of like deep awareness coming from this dog person also towards what this connection is and what it means and what it entails. And they're definitely very aware with this destiny card that this connection was meant to happen in one way or another, and perhaps like they're a little bit more surrendered to the universe and to the fact that like if it has to happen, it will, which is, it's a good thing to have. Like, it's a good energy to embody, but at the same time, if you take it too far, then indeed you step into this energy of like passiveness, if that makes sense. And instead of like sort of like moving towards the dear person, they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for it to happen, and then they just wait, and then, you know, it just ends up not happening, and they're like, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be happening. Whereas the truth is like, yeah, bruh, you didn't do anything about it. Like, it could have happened, but you didn't take it, and you didn't like make something out of it. What time are we at? Oh wow. Yeah, I would say that this is all that I'm getting for now. I'm just going to put these to the side and just keep a couple of these. I'm just gonna keep these right here, and yeah, put these to the side because I don't want to have too many cards on the table, which is very fitting for you guys' situation, since you don't want to be, you know, not have too many cards on the table indeed. Okay, so if this resonates, if this is indeed your energy and your situation with your person, then why can't I shuffle this deck right now? And we are going to look into, is this connection being headed towards something more? Is it going to be developing into something more? Or is the potential even there? Then afterwards we will take channeled messages from your person directly to you. So I'm very excited to see what is going to come through there, as well as some advice and moonology predictions. And then we're going to take it over to the extended for the 18+ naughty stuff. I love doing those readings, so I hope you guys enjoy those as well. Okay. So are we gonna like do it in a specific way, or we're just gonna pull cards? Okay, you know what? I have an idea, or like an idea of being guided to do it like this. So the first row is going to be like, is there like something in the divine plan of this connection for it, like, that it indicates that you guys are sort of like meant or supposed to, or like being nudged into becoming something more. And then the what's it called? The clarifiers will tell us a little bit about what you guys on the 3D. So like it will be like 5D versus 3D energy, okay? So like more spiritual, like 5D type of energy, and then the 3D energy will tell us a little bit about like where you guys are actually going, physically speaking. Does that make sense? We will just get into it. Okay, so is pile 1 the connection that they have with this person? Wow, okay, so we have sacrifice number 12, which is the Hanged Man. Do I have to take this? The Dreamer. I feel like we have to take it, but what is it? The Dreamer is... it's the Queen of Swords. Okay, 5D energies for this connection, please. Are they meant... The Peacock and the Fool. Holy shit. Okay, so the number 3 is the Empress. And we have the Fool, which is death in this deck. I don't want to say anything too quickly, but let's just pull the last card. 5D energies of this kind. Do we have to take all of this? We're just gonna take. Okay, so yeah, on the bottom of the deck, flipping over, we had the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Swords, as well as the 3 of Pentacles. But these 2 cards flipped over, the Protector and the Composer. The Protector is the King of Wands, and the Composer is the Page of Cups. So this is very interesting. I'm just going to pull clarifiers right away for your 3D energies. So what about this Sacrifice Hanged Man card? What about the 3D energies? So we have, yeah, we have the 3 of Wands. We have the 3 of Wands. And we also have the 5 of Cups showing up below the Dreamer. The Dreamer was the Queen of Swords, yeah. What about the Empress? What about the Peacock? What about this Empress for the 3D energies? We have the 10 of Wands. We have the Shore, which is the Tower, I believe. Let me check. The Shore is the Tower, yeah. Mars energy. What about the Protector, please? The Protector, which was the King of Wands. What about the Protector, please? What about this King of Wands for the 3D energies of this connection? What about this King of Wands, please? 3D energies for this connection. We have the Shapeshifter, which is the Knight of Wands. Let me see, the Shapeshifter, yeah, that's the Knight of Wands. And what about the Composer, which was the Page of Cups? What about this Page of Cups? Yeah, there's already been like 2 cards that are like half flipping over and then going back, which is always an indication of something like repressing desires or energies of repressed, so like not freely floating expressions, if that makes sense. What about this Page of Cups energy? And for some of you, definitely this dog person will be some type of creator. We have the Cosmic Tree, which is, what was it? The Cosmic Tree. Oh, it's the Hermit. It's Inner Wisdom. Oh, fuck yeah. Did I call that card in? And on the bottom of the deck, we have the 3. Nah, why? This is not helpful. Oh, below that we have the 2 of Cups. No, this is not helpful, you guys. Okay, so we have the 3 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, and below that we have the 2 of Cups. What is below that? The 7 of... Oh, you guys, come on. The 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm just going to be very, 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 extremely, very straightforward with you guys. Pile 1. There is 100% a divine plan for you guys to come together. This dog person likely knows. This dog person likely is aware to an extent, to a degree, that this is kind of like meant to be happening. But you guys are indeed just like so scared. You guys are like terrified of this unknown territory. This Shore card, this Tower card is all about like unknown territory, and the fact that it's like terrifying to like land somewhere, to like be stranded somewhere that you don't know what that's gonna look like if it's going to work out, if it's going to be dangerous, if like weird monsters and shadows are going to come out. There's definitely, there is an element of divine timing for sure, because we do have the Empress, which is all about letting things come to you, like not chasing, letting things come to you. As well as the Sacrifice card, which is the Hanged Man, which is also all about like dropping this need to control things and taking things in your own hands and sort of like micromanaging everything and just hanging in there and just trusting that whatever it is that needs to come through to you will. I'm being called to notice these little mushrooms on the Peacock card, so some of you might like be dabbling into mushrooms or something like that. Which, I mean, would make sense that you choose this deck because it looks kind of trippy. There's a lot of waiting for sure. There's a lot of waiting, which is interesting because you guys on the 3D are sort of like waiting on this like 3 of Wands, sort of like waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for the other one to come towards you because you're too scared to make a move yourself, which is reflected kind of like by this energy of like the Hanged Man and the Empress of like allowing things to happen. But the thing is, it's two different things, like allowing things to happen and still pouring your energy into it and sort of like doing whatever it is that you can and that you want to do and that you feel like doing, and then you feel like giving and still making steps into the direction that you want to go, essentially, that you want to exist in at a later date or like right now, which is different than just like kind of sitting there on the edge of the precipice and being like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait here because I'm not sure if my oh, what is it called? Paracadute in Italian. What is it called? Like those, like when you jump off of an airplane and you have like a little rock pack which then opens into this thing. What is it called? Oh my god. Never mind. You're just waiting on the precipice of this new journey, essentially, this new energy, this new world, which would be indeed like a deeper connection, like possibly like a romantic connection with this person. You're kind of scared, like kind of sitting there and kind of keeping yourself blocked. Okay, so it's very two different energies, and like with this 5 of Cups coming through, it's like you guys are so scared of what could go wrong that you're not even taking into consideration of all the things that could be so freaking beautiful. And if you are taking those into consideration, they're still being in both of your eyes and both of your like feelings, they're still being outweighed by the heaviness and the weight of the things that could potentially go wrong, which of course is not like, this is not to blame you guys, because this is a very normal, natural feeling to have, like a normal, natural reaction to have. So of course, if you have something beautiful, that you don't want to ruin it. Of course, is it worth it to ruin this, to like risk this, to put this connection into jeopardy just because like we kind of feel like, maybe I feel like you guys sometimes with this with the Protector and the Composer coming out, which are like the Knight of Wands and the Page of Cups, like you might doubt sometimes whether this is indeed like truly meant to be developing, like this is true like actual romantic like counterpart energy potentially, or sometimes you might be wondering like, is this just because my hormones are all over the place and I'm just craving like physical contact or something like that, or just because I'm craving, you know, a little flirt or whatever. You guys are definitely doubting a lot like what you can truly give to each other in that sense, which honestly there is no answer here. Like this is up to you to figure out. Like you guys definitely are meant to connect, and you guys are meant to, like, you found each other for a very good reason. But it's not to say that you guys like have to take this to another level, if that makes sense. Like if it's still, which all goes back to the premise that I made at the beginning, which is like, if it doesn't develop into something romantic, then fine, then this still is a great connection no matter what. You guys have already found that universal love, that unconditional love for each other, that unconditional acceptance of each other, this beautiful, deep, strong, unbreakable bond between the two of you. Like you already have found that. Like it's up to you what you do with that. Like you literally could create something more, if you will, but you could also leave it at this and just appreciate it for what it is. It's obviously all up to your desires and the direction in which you're willing to go. Because it's so interesting, because the 3 of Cups, like the bottom of the deck, is the literally the card of friendship. And then below that, we have the Two of Cups, which is literally like a soulmate card, like a often in a romantic sense. But it does, like, it's so cool that this deck is like basically wait, oh, other way around. It's like a big painting. Like the images add up to each other. Do you see that? That's so cool. But yeah, this is literally to say, like, you guys have definitely already found this soulmate within one another. You can be anything you want. I'm hearing, like, you can be anything you want. If you just want to, like, keep it at a friendship, then sure. But that, like, my question is, like, do you want to keep it at a friendship? You guys get, like, you guys have free will. There is definitely some type of, like, predetermined or like some type of little very deep soulmate bond here. And like, soulmates can be, like, you could be soulmates with your mom, all that matters. Like, soulmate connections don't have to, like, be romantic or whatever. Soulmates definitely, like, in terms of like soul tribe, you know, you could literally be soulmates with your best friend or like your friend and just enjoy that connection for what it is. I do feel like perhaps for some of you, you might sometimes be wondering, like, you might be shifting with the shapeshifter card, be like shifting from one spectrum to the other, be like, oh no, like, this is perfect as a friendship, and like, it's so valuable for what it is, and like, it's so different than all other, you know, like, I feel like sometimes that some of you might be thinking like, oh, but what if it just becomes one of those boring like couple things? Like, right now we are already so badass, it's so cool together, like, this is such a beautiful special connection. I don't want to ruin that in the sense of like making it just like a little boring couples thingy or something like that. But on the other hand, you're like, yeah, but what if I do want those boring like couples things? Which indeed, it's all options. Like, honestly, I'm not feeling one specific thing here for you. This is literally saying like, you have this choice. Also, don't force anything. Don't there's a fly. Don't do try to embody that Empress and that Hanged Man energy of just allowing things to happen as they have to and as you want them to. Sort of like, do keep steering your little boat in the direction in which you want it to go, and then see whatever it is that comes through. Like, also, I'm getting this message of like, if it's not happening right now, it doesn't mean that it's not happening at all. Not everything, like, it's so strange because we as humans, especially if you have Aries placements, hi to my fellow Aries placements. I'm an Aries moon, so sometimes as humans, and especially as humans with Aries placements or any Aries energy, we might be thinking like, I want it now and it has to be happening now and real fast, otherwise it means that it's just never going to happen. This sense of impatience and this sense of like, it has to be a certain way for it to be real, and otherwise it's just not real, which is not, that's not true. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm being a little wishy-washy right now, but let's just move into channeled messages. I feel like this reading is going to be very long, but that's okay. And if you don't find that okay, then you're more than welcome to stop watching at any time or just find readers who make shorter readings. Anyways, channeled messages from your person, whichever person. Should we do? Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to, I was thinking like, should I pull channel messages from the dear person? Do you know what? I'm going to, what should I do? Yeah, I'm going to pull channel messages like for both sides, and if you need to flip-flop some things, like, I'm trying to make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. If you still need to flip-flop certain things, then you will know. But anyways, I don't know if I can trust you comes out for the dear person. Yeah, I don't know if I can trust, if I can trust the situation, if I can trust us to move things forward like that. I can't stop thinking about you. Like, more like, I want to rectify this one with, I can't stop thinking about the possibility of being together. From the dear person to the dog person. What else would the dear person say to the dog person if they could be completely honest at this time, please? Okay, so this one, you look so beautiful. Aww. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of physical attraction too, which I feel like it's one of those physical attractions that didn't necessarily happen right away, but it's more like, you, as soon as the dear person learned to got to know the dog person more in depth. Like this beauty kind of like came out more effortlessly. Like this person became, like the dog person became more beautiful and like more good looking in the eyes of the deer person as a result of the beauty that the deer person saw in the dog person's energy. Does that make sense? Oh my god. Then we have I don't know. See this uncertainty about whether it's a good idea or not. Like the deer person is definitely a little confused about like, I don't know if this is a good idea or where this would lead us essentially. What else would the deer person say? We have, I just need you to listen. Yeah, there's definitely a desire, a hidden, suppressed, I want to say, desire to talk about this. You are a ray of sunshine. Yeah, the deer person definitely, the dog person makes the deer person so happy. But that's, I feel like it's a mutual thing because you guys have this beautiful, effortless, warm connection to each other. So what would the dog person say to the deer person, please? What would, do we have to take this? I don't think we have to take this. What would the dog person say to the deer person, please? Okay, we're going to take that one. Right person, wrong time. That is interesting. So perhaps this dog person might be dealing with someone else or something else. They might have just gone through a breakup or something and they still have to like recover from that. But let's see, what else would the dog person say to the deer person if they could be completely honest about this situation, about their feelings? What would the dog person... What the hell is going on? Yeah, they just don't understand. Like, perhaps you have been indeed like best friends for so long, or just like such good friends for such a long time, and they're like, wow, why is this happening? Like, oh my gosh. It's definitely a little overwhelming for sure, because this is like a very present energy in both of you guys' like lives energies. Then we have, I wasn't expecting this. Exactly. Perhaps like it might be that the dog person caught feelings a little bit like more recently from the deer person. Could be. But yeah, this is definitely something that kind of like, with this, I wasn't expecting this. It's like that, those type of connections and feelings that just develop like automatically. It's not that you like plan on, like, it's not that you guys like went on a date or something like that. Well, like it could have been, but this is more to say like you guys started off as friends and you just expected each other to be friends, and then it's like, oh wow, there's actually something more here. What about... Or what else would the dog person say to the deer person if they could be completely honest about their feelings? I am terrified, I'm seeing. Yeah. This fear of things going to ish. And perhaps like the dog person might be indeed a little bit more scared of getting wounded again. Indeed, with this right person, wrong time too. Like they might just be dealing with a lot of things that we haven't seen in this, because of course this was about the connection itself. Oh, I just saw this one. Talking about it scares me. So that there's definitely, again, like this very clear feeling that I got earlier with the tarot, that you guys really have this need to talk about it, but at the same time you kind of like, it freaks you out, because of course, like, what if it's like, what if the other person is like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious? Which I don't feel like either of you would be, like, honestly, but I feel so small. And you are so beautiful. Look at this. We have you look so beautiful. You are so beautiful. Oh my god. Oh yeah, you guys definitely have this deep appreciation for one another. So sweet. So sweet. Okay, let's take one of these cards for advice. Yeah, and with this I feel so small card, this is just reiterating that the dog person might be just going through a lot of things at this time, which is maybe influencing their energy towards a connection as well. Okay, what advice do we have? Okay, what advice do we have for the deer person? And then we're going to take one for the dog person. What advice do you have for the deer person? All my decks are listed down below, as well as my Etsy shop for personal readings, as well as the link to the extended. We have number 36 or 9 with the thin veil, let go and let glow. Yeah, I feel like this is asking like if you are the dear person, the advice is indeed to sort of like try and let go of control, like just let this flow as it needs to. Let this flow as it flows, like as it wants to flow, this connection, like see just what you want and where you want to go. Don't try to force anything, but don't hold back too much either. Just find that sweet middle spot, if that makes sense. But what if the person watching is the dog person? There's a bunch of cards, but we're gonna put those back. What is the advice for the dog person, please? Advice for the dog person, please. We have 2 cards, which I guess we're just going to take. We have number 31, Ally in Disguise, discover the hard to find blessings, and number 23 or 5, trip the light fantastic, dance with the universe. Yeah, this is definitely telling the dog person to keep their faith in the universe as they have been having. But also dance with the universe. So don't sit on the side and watch the universe dance by itself. Like, you will have to dance with the universe as well. Like, definitely there is this message for the dog person to be a little bit more proactive in that sense, a little bit less less passive, if that makes sense. This is not a bad thing. It's just 2 different energies. Like, if it triggers you to hear that, it's not a bad thing. It's just 2 different states of being. Oh, okay, so this card flipped over and another card just popped out. We have prosperity lies ahead with new moon in Taurus. That's good news. You and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. Yeah, this is just to say, like, it's safe to open up to each other about these things too, because you guys have this beautiful love between one another. What else do we have for pile 1? Advice or predictions or forecasts for pile 1, please. About this connection. A personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. I feel like this is specifically for the dog person who indeed, if they are struggling with something, which I mean, we all are struggling with things all the freaking time. So this might just be a good omen of the fact that there is going to be indeed some type of resolution for the dog person specifically, but also indeed, like, if you needed some encouragement, like, prosperity lies ahead, you and your loved ones are safe, a personal issue reaches resolution. We also have like new moon in Cancer and full moon in Cancer. That's like, well, of course they're not close. They're literally like more than half a year apart from each other, or half a year apart from each other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is just like to indicate like cycles will come to fruition. The cycles will come to an end for the best. There's definitely a lot of positive energy here, like no matter what you guys decide to do, and it's just like an invitation to trust each other and to trust the universe and to trust yourselves. Pile 1, thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I'm going to take this over to the extended now. Thank you so much for being here. Definitely do feel free to leave me a comment down below letting me know how it is resonated with you, as it means everything to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. Also, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps with the algorithm. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you either in the extended or in the next one. Bye. Hi pile 2, if you chose the Fountain Tarot as well as this blue Jamaican Calcite Tower, this is going to be your reading all about, is this friendship going to be turning into more? Is it meant to be turning into more? So now a little update, since I have improvised that in pile 1 after I filmed the intro. What we're going to do with the tarot is the first row of cards is going to indicate like the 5D type of spiritual energy, sort of like God's or source's plan for you guys for this connection. And on the clarifier, so the lower layer of cards, we're going to look into the 3D energies, so more earthly, like human energies about indeed whether this connection is going to turn into something more than a friendship or not. I hope that was clear. I feel like it was a little stuttering. Anyways, it will all become clear once we get there. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to look into these oracles that I've pre-shuffled, in case indeed you skipped the intro. We are going to look into a person A versus person B format. Definitely use your own discernment to distinguish who is who. You should be able to find at least your own energy. If not, this is probably not your pile. And if you do recognize your own energy in your own situation with this person, then definitely you know that you found the right pile, and you can move on to the next section, indeed, in which we're going to look in if this connection is supposed to be or like is turning into something more. And then if that resonates and you want to know more, even more, we're going to look into the sexual energy between the two of you in the extended 18 plus reading, which is always going to be linked down below. And what that is going to be is essentially just the general energy of either your first encounter or this person's desires in that sense towards you. Pile ones has been very, very interesting, so I'm really curious to see what is going to come out here. But let's stop babbling and wabbling now. Let's see what we have here for you. Oh, by the way, we're also going to take channel messages in both sections. So here on YouTube as well as on the extended, we're going to take channel messages as well as advice. So for person A, we have the B with community. You are a powerful creator. Your work blesses everything you touch. Be open to receiving sweetness. You are the queen of abundance. Then for person A, we have Aquarius with originality, philanthropy, and progressive imagining. Let me put that here. Do you see that? Oh, fair enough. Then for person A, we have number 35 or 8 with left out with the wolves. Then we have the crown chakra with creation. And we have the storm archetype with number 48. 48, which reduces to 12 or 3. So the connecting energy between the two of you is Grand Cross. For this card, I asked about what is helping or what is uplifting, or like a strong point between the two of you within your connection. And we got number 24 or 6 with Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. And for this card, I asked what is blocking or hindering or challenging, essentially, this connection. And we have loneliness with I know that I'm never alone. Now for person B, we have the sea otter with happiness. Be the master of playful living, release expectations and enjoy every day. Let worry go and instead choose love. Surrender to the waves. Your good destiny of love is true. Then for person B, we have Neptune energy with dream and transcend. Then we have number 63 or 9 with cast your sacred symbols. And we have the third eye chakra with balance. And last but not least, for person B, we have the self archetype with number 29. So before I start saying anything else, it is very likely that you guys in this connection are currently either in separation or parted in some type of way from one another. Like if you guys are still in contact, this might look more like emotional detachment or just there is some type of like energies turning away from each other at this time rather than inwards towards each other. I do feel like for a lot of you, you will not be in contact with this person at all or much. Because there is quite some tension. And I want to say especially from this B person part. Although there's also quite some struggle from this sea otter person on this side. I want to start by the connecting energies because this is very interesting. The general energy of the connection is Grand Cross, which is all about like very important challenges, very much like clashing energies, obstacles, difficulties, just very challenging. It's a very challenging aspect to have within a birth chart or also in a synastry chart. This is, that was indeed like the main indicator that you guys might be in some type of conflict. Like you might have been like brutally parted ways for some reason, like something might have happened. Like even if this is not the case, this just means that there's some tension between the two of you and some type of conflict, some type of either disagreement or just you guys not being on the same page about something. This doesn't have to be dramatic, although for some of you I do feel like there is some type of indeed like more intense type of resentment type of energy. It doesn't have to be necessarily Um, what it's very interesting that we have earth energy for what is actually aiding and helping and uplifting this connection is the energy of earth, which I'm going to read again. It reads, the frequency of earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all aspects of our great mother and revealing the more ethereal spiritual aspects of our nature. So one thing that this connection or this situation that you guys are in right now has done for both of you, for this connection, is bringing some type of grounding. I'm getting specifically for the sea otter, but also some type of grounding for this bee person. And what I mean with that is it has brought you, I'm hearing like open your eyes about something, either about aspects of yourself, especially for the sea otter person, but we will get into the individual energies in a minute. But what has happened specifically for the both of you is just that this connection and this situation in which you're in currently at this time, it has really opened up the door for connection. Obviously not necessarily with each other at this time, which I'm getting for a lot of you, this will actually be like I'm hearing like a rite of passage so that you can like, you're parting ways right now, energetically speaking, only so that you can go through some things and see things more clearly and get more in touch with yourselves and the world around you and come back stronger than ever later. There is indeed some degree of connection that this situation of separation, paradoxically speaking, has brought to you. To indeed either things like spirituality or like higher realms or like deeper connection with other people in the meanwhile, like while you guys are being separated from each other, at least energetically, or indeed a deeper connection and deeper like focus of energy within yourselves. Now with this loneliness card being here, that is another thing that it is so clear to me that you guys are not done with each other. Like there's so much unresolved business. Like you're not done with each other. Like you might, like especially this bee person might be like, yeah, I don't want to have to do anything with it. Like I'm so done. I have nothing to say, which is absolute, like that's a lie. That's not true that they have nothing to say. If they are being silent, if the bee person, like if I feel for a lot of you, you will be the sea otter person. Of course, like flip flop it if it's necessary. You will know which energies is yours and which ones are not yours. Hopefully, this bee person definitely is holding some type of grudge, but I don't want to go, like I want to finish talking about this. Like you guys still both on both sides, you still feel this very 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 strong deep connection to each other. Like you still feel like each other's energy, even when you're not together, even if you're not communicating, even if you're like blocked from each other on social media or something like that, you still do feel this connection with each other. Like there's it's not that either of you is like, yeah, I'm truly done and at peace with whatever happened and I'm at peace with being separated from pile 2 or the other person in your case. There's definitely like you miss each other for sure. With this loneliness, you guys are noticing, like how I best can describe it is that like you're noticing each other's absence, like the absence of the other person in each other's lives. Does that make sense? Like it's not something that goes unnoticed. It's not something that is like, oh yeah, whatever, like I don't have this person in my life anymore and we're not talking. It's like, oh good, whatever. Like peace. No, this is really something that is, it's like a mini glitch in both of your lives in which you're like something is missing. And that something is pile 2 or your person in your case. Where do I start? Do I start with this or do I start with that? I want to start with the sea otter person, although I might bounce back and forth a little while I'm talking. This sea otter person is definitely doing a little bit better in terms of like, they're a little bit more trying to keep their focus positive and being more optimistic and trying to take care of themselves better. Whereas the bee person is kind of on the avoidance side. They're kind of like, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually did have Aquarius energy. We have Neptune, which is one of the 2 rulers of Pisces, so Pisces might also be significant. The storm reminds me of Scorpio for some reason. Balance reminds me of Libra for obvious reasons. And Earth is Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. This doesn't have to be astrologically relevant. this B person is definitely on the avoidance side. Like they're definitely holding quite some grudges. They're holding quite some resentment, I want to say. I don't know if it's like towards the C other person or towards the situation or towards someone else that has had something to do with the situation. This could be different for everyone. But there's definitely a lot of turmoil with this storm energy coming through here for the B person. They might also be someone who first of all, they might be some type of artist, some type of creator. Like they might be a content creator, since we do have I don't know, that was the vibe that I was getting with like this B community card being here in this case. We do have the word creation and creator twice. So there's definitely something that this person is doing to keep themselves busy. And I'm getting in a very specific like escapist avoidance type of way. Like they might have a lot of anger inside of them, which is just something that they might be dealing with anyways, and not necessarily about something that happened here. So if nothing bad happened or anything like that, nothing disruptive happened between the two of you, this person might still be dealing with a lot of like anger and resentment, like trapped anger and then bottled up resentment, things like that within themselves, which might also be reflecting them with how they approach you and how they approach or don't approach you. But this person definitely feels like they were left out with the wolves. Like they might be someone they might also have indeed like Scorpio placements and be very, very distrustful. Scorpio moon I'm getting specifically, or like the moon in the 8th house. Or Scorpio 11th house. Something with combination of 11th house / Aquarius energy and 8th house and Scorpio energy. But they do feel like, I feel like that one of the patterns and the triggers of this B person is that they can't trust people. Like no matter if it's like in a romantic sense or like in a friendship sense or like in a work sense or whatever, they really have a hard time trusting people. Also Capricorn vibes perhaps, Taurus, well I mean I already mentioned those. They are quite skeptical about people's intentions, no matter how straightforward or not they are with them, like other people are with them, with this B person. They will always kind of be walking on the fence between like, can I trust this person or not? They always would rather give this person like have the benefit of the doubt and not trust someone completely, because they feel like they can't trust people, because some people will always have like bad intentions or like want to take advantage of them or like cheat on them or just like talk behind their back or something like that, which is interesting because this makes this person, I'm getting that quote of like harboring resentment, or I'm butchering that quote by the way, don't take it literally, but it's something about like harboring resentment for someone else is like drinking poison and hoping for them to die. This person is having a lot of these unpleasant, uncomfortable feelings, which are like rage, anger, jealousy perhaps, distrust, and they're really projecting those onto other people. They think that people have malignant intentions with them, which makes them in turn act in ways that are not aligned, because they're always kind of like hyper aware and always like on with their guard up and always being very skeptical and never letting see too much of themselves, because they're like, this person is gonna hurt me, these people are gonna hurt me, like they're gonna use it against me or something like that. So it's very interesting because it literally is like some type of projection type of thing going on here, in which they, and I mean, if this B person is attracting a lot of people who are indeed like, I'm hearing the word like toxic, people who are not acting in their best interest and not being genuine and kind and nurturing, who are only like taking advantage of them or just like cheating or lying or things like that. This is the universe trying to show this B person what is going on within them. Because literally, if this is the energy that they have within themselves, of like storm and this distrust and this anger and this resentment and this like, I can't trust anyone, this is literally what is going to, like, this is the lens through which they see life and people around them. I don't know if something happened with you specifically. This probably will differ for everyone since this is a collective reading, but this B person is definitely creating some distance, and not because they want distance, because they genuinely don't care about you, or just because they generally don't want to have anything about to have blah. It's not because they don't care about you or don't like you or don't want anything to do with you at all. It's because they have a lot of trust issues. Like, to put it plainly, they have a lot of trust issues, and they might not even be aware of that. This otter person, on the other hand, which I mean, now I've sort of talked about it as if you were the sea otter, but like feel free to 100% to flip flop this if it is the case. But I feel like for a lot of you, you will be the sea otter person. The sea otter person is kind of trying indeed to keep things more positive, to keep things more optimistic. I'm not getting a lot of like harboring of resentment or just like trickster energy from here, or not even a lot of pain or sadness or anger. Like, of course, if you do have some like residual sadness or pain or somewhat more like uncomfortable emotions about the situation because you do miss this person, and then perhaps like you don't like how things went down or how they are going down right now, you are more at peace with those things. Like the sea otter here is like they're bathing in water with these little birds right here, which is, oh sorry, I was taking my bottle of water. I hope that was not too loud for my headphone using friends. I'm gonna take a sip of water and then I'm gonna keep going. The sea otter is a lot more comfortable with their emotions. It might definitely also, with this Neptune and Pisces energy coming through, this dream and transcend, balance, third eye card coming through. The sea otter person is definitely a lot more in touch with their emotions, with their spirituality, with the spiritual aspects of things, with the spiritual lessons and like life lessons and blessings about everything. And they're definitely on a quest of self-discovery and self-love. Which is also something that they're really trying to focus on right now. Like, the sea otter person is definitely trying to pour a lot of love into themselves, which it might be very hard sometimes because they might wonder, like, have I done something wrong? Like, with this balance, they're really trying to figure out what happened, what is my fault and what is your fault? Like, where did I do too little or too much, and where did you actually not show up? Like, how could I have done things better, and how could I have, let things go a little bit more? Like, where was I too much holding on to control, and where was I too passive or something like that? This sea otter person is really trying to see themselves clearly and the other person clearly. Whereas, honestly, the bee person has a very scattered and obfuscated, is obfuscated a word in English? A very troubled, a very cloudy vision of themselves, their own physical reality and emotional reality, as well as that of other people, like a very blurred version of a vision of other people as well. And I honestly, like, I don't think that this bee person realizes, and I don't mean to sound harsh or mean or whatever, like I'm trying to put this person down, not at all. Like, if anything, I have a lot of compassion for this person because I can only imagine how freaking hard it is to exist in this energy. And of course, it doesn't come from anywhere. Like, probably they had a past in which they had to be super hyper aware of people's intentions because they might have been like effed over so many times, and they had to learn how to not trust people, to not be effed over. Overall, like, the sea otter person might also be, with this cast your sacred symbols card, they might be into things like witchcraft and actually spell casting and possibly things like manifestation. I'm definitely getting a lot of Pisces vibes from this side. It doesn't have to be necessarily, but the sea otter person is definitely trying to find the silver lining of the situation. They're trying to enjoy themselves. They're trying to be present with themselves. They're trying to also, like, telepathically and just like energetically send love to this bee person. Like, if they have any negative emotions sometimes too, because of course, like, the sea otter person is now being described as this kind of like more high vibe and very, very determined and disciplined and motivated person to be well, to do well, and to love themselves and to take care of themselves. But of course, they're still human, and they might sometimes still have doubts and still have like be afraid that they might be either too much or too little, that they might be doing things wrong, that they might be like sabotaging things themselves. Like, this is definitely a very self-aware person, and they sometimes might be carried away by their emotional awareness and their spiritual awareness, I want to say. But they're trying to be very conscious about the energy that they feed themselves about the bee person. So let's say that the sea, like, to make an example, let's say that the sea otter person is like sitting at home thinking about what went down with the bee person, or like how much they miss the bee person, and whatever the situation is with the bee person. They might be sitting at home and then have these emotions coming up of like either anger or like frustration at the bee person, of like, why can't you like see things more clearly? Why can't you come towards me more? Things like that. Why does it have to be so hard? Like, why do you have to be so negative? Things like that. Then the sea otter person will likely allow themselves to feel those emotions, even though they're uncomfortable. But they will always circle back to not poison themselves in the same way, honestly, that the bee person is doing. The sea otter person really does not want to poison themselves and the bee person with negative energy and negative emotion. So they will always try to do their best to understand where the bee person is coming from, and why they're acting the way that in which they're doing, and understand their emotions and their needs, even where the bee person doesn't understand those things themselves yet. But the sea otter person will be like sending energetically love, like thinking loving thoughts about the bee person, hoping that this will bring healing to the bee person. Like they might indeed do things like spellcrafting and like witchcraft and manifesting healing, sending healing angels to the bee person, because they know that they're struggling, and they can understand, they can see below all this storm in a clearer way than the bee person can even. And honestly, the bee person might be, Aquarius is indeed also like fixed energy. Scorpio is also fixed energy, as I mentioned. Taurus as well. Capricorn is cardinal, but this bee person might have been triggered a lot by the sea otter person, which if nothing specifically happened and you guys are still sort of like parted from each other, like energetically distant from each other, this might also literally be because the bee person was triggered by the sea otter person's ability to see through, and this spiritual awareness and this high energy. They might, like, the sea otter person might just have this very bright light that is kind of blinding to this bee person, who is not comfortable with being in light, who is not comfortable with looking into what they're doing wrong, looking into how they're sabotaging themselves. Like, this person is kind of whirlwinding into their own thoughts and into their own patterns, without for now being too interested in breaking those patterns, if that makes sense. Whereas the sea otter person is very aware of those patterns, of like their own patterns, and perhaps can even see through the patterns of the bee person. Yeah, so this is definitely two very, very different energies. It's quite straightforward, and honestly, again, I do feel like you will be the sea otter person, because the clarity that is, like, these are very clear, straightforward, very clear messages, and this is really reflective of the energy that I'm connecting to right now, which is of course that of the viewer. And this is to say, like, yes, you do have a lot of clarity of what is going on here. Like, if you needed confirmation about, am I getting things clearly here, or am I just like being delusional? No, like, you do have so much clarity about what is going on here. Like, I can literally feel it, like, from how this person is presenting themselves and how you're presenting yourself. If you're the bee person, then just be aware of the reciprocity of the situation, I guess. But yeah. And one more thing that I feel called to mention, little flying things. Oops. Another thing that I feel called to mention about the sea otter person is that they're discovering parts of themselves over and over and over again. Like, this is someone who has gone through a lot of spiritual awakenings, a lot of personal awakenings, who has done a lot of personal growth and a lot of transformation. And you are just, again, I feel called to refer to the sea otter person as you, because it just feels like most of you watching will be this person. But this sea otter person has just done so much inner healing, and they've brought so much light within their own shadow. Like, it's not to say that they have no work left to do, because, you know, that type of work never ends. But with this pearl showing up here as well, I feel like you have, either through things like entheogenic plants or like psychedelic experiences, or through meditation, or through other experiences, like, you might literally just have had like a spontaneous awakening, and you might have really closely gotten in touch with the truth of oneness and the truth of source and of the universe, if that makes sense. But okay, let's put these to the side and keep these. I don't want to keep too many cards since these are a bunch of cards already. These ones are going to the side. And let's go into the... I want to ask perhaps for you guys... I wish I could have like live direct feedback, but of course like, I'm pre-recording this and I have to like make a decision myself. I'm thinking, should I look into whether you guys will come closer together rather than asking if this is going to be more than a friendship? You know what? We're just going to leave a blank slate to Spirit. Spirit is going to tell us whatever it is that we need to know about this connection. What is in for this connection? We're just going to ask what's in for this connection. So 5D energies and 3D energies below. So what's in for this connection on the 5D perspective, like spiritually speaking, higher self speaking, spiritual lessons speaking. What is the truth of what is coming for this connection? What is in store for this connection on the 5D level? Everything is thoroughly pre-shuffled, so if you see any shitty shuffle here, it's okay, because like this is just to do an extra shuffle within this energy rather than only before. But yeah, all the decks that I use are down below in the... These are extremely bad shuffles though. All the decks that I use are listed down below, as well as the link to my Etsy shop where you can book a private reading with me if you wish to do so, and also the link to the extended, in which we are going to look into the... I guess I will establish what we are going to do exactly in that extended, because I'm not sure if it's the best thing to look into for this pile, but we will see. Either way, I will let you guys know towards the end of this reading what we're going to do in the extended exactly. If we're just going to look into in the like 18 plus thoughts and sexual energies and things like that, or into something else. Anyways, so 5D energies for this connection. What is in store for this connection on the 5D perspective, please? So we have the Emperor, Aries energy, and we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, one flipped over. We have the High Priestess. Okay. This deck is absolutely one of my favorite decks ever, by the way. I know you guys care about that, so I just thought I would share that piece of information. We have, what the hell? We have the Magician. So for those of you who are not aware, the Magician is like the 5D Divine Masculine, and the High Priestess is like the 5D Divine Feminine. So we have Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine showing up here. The Emperor and the Empress will be the like 3D human, earthly, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. So we had the Page of Swords showing up and the 3 of Cups. Should I just take these like that as a clarifier? I feel like I have to take it as a clarifier, so I'm just going to put this as a clarifier here. But this would be for the 3D. Yeah, it feels right here. I have to keep it there. What about the 3D energies? What about this Emperor energy? What about the 3D energies? Oh, I just got a very interesting insight. So we have the 5 of Cups to clarify the Emperor. What about the 8 of Cups? And I just got another very interesting... Oh my god, so cool. I'm gonna put these back because it's quite somewhat cards. What about this 8 of Cups, please? We have the 5 of Pentacles. What about this High Priestess, please? What are 3D energies for this connection? We have the Page of Pentacles. Does this card want to come out? It's the Knight of Wands. I don't feel like I have to take it. What about this Magician energy for the 3D? We have the 9 of Cups. I feel like I have to take more cards. Do I take more cards? I'm just gonna take one more card. What is this? This is the Two of Cups that wanted to come out in reverse. Let me clarify that real quick. We have the Six of Wands. Okay. Oh, and on the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands, clarified by the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands. Okay. So, pile 2. What I can say from what the 5D perspective about your connection looks like right now as I'm reading into it. Right now, this connection is not meant to develop into like a romantic, intimate type of connection. Right now, there is a need for both of you to recognize what it is that is not serving you and is not working for you. There is a lot of polarity between the two of you, for hella sure. And you might find sometimes that perhaps like when the B person is at more of a like rock bottom type of energy, the C outer person will be like at a very elevated type of energy. And if you guys have been like knowing each other for a long time and have been even able to notice these patterns, you will notice that it's also very easily flipped. So when the C outer person is doing a little bit worse, that the B person is actually doing pretty well. And so on and so forth. Like you will rarely both be at the same time at rock bottom and or at the same time being super elevated in terms of energy. There is this energy that the B person will likely keep being a little avoidant and a little headstrong, hot-headed perhaps, and just be very negatively focused with this Five of Cups coming through. Being very stubborn, very just very like, I know what's best and I'm not open to hearing other people's opinions. And again, I don't think that this is something that this pattern, this energy is something that the B person is even aware of. Because if you would tell them that they have anger issues and they have trust issues and they're very stubborn, they would be like, no, what are you talking about? Like I'm very open-minded and I'm very, typical Aquarius energy. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bash any of the Aquarians here that are watching this, but it's a thing. Obviously, it's, not everyone is like that, but this person will likely keep being like that. And the challenge, and the Sea Otter person is being invited to keep that softness, to keep that loving energy, and not for the B person, but for themselves. Like whether the B person acknowledges this energy and welcomes this energy and takes it in and wants to reciprocate it or not, or whether they scorn it and leave it behind and keep doing what they've been doing up until now and keep holding this resentment and harboring this anger and whatnot. That's up to them. But the Sea Otter person, this is the typical case scenario of don't let the harsh world, don't let harsh people make you harsh as well. Keep your softness. Softness and gentleness is your power, pile 2. And again, I feel like for a lot of you, this will be you. I'm sorry if the energies are flipped, but I feel strongly called to do it like this right now. The Sea Otter person has to keep that softness and that loving energy, not for the B person, but mainly for themselves. Because the Sea Otter person is very likely very aware that the energy that they extend to other people is literally the same energy that they extend to themselves. The way in which they treat other people is the literal way in which they treat themselves. By loving someone else and being patient with someone else, they learn how to do that with themselves as well. Because whenever they act the opposite with themselves, they will notice. And it's not to say that it's easy as being like, oh, I'm patient with you, therefore I am automatically very patient with myself too. No, it's to say that you will likely be more aware of whenever you're not treating yourself with compassion and when you're not treating yourself with unconditional love. And also, by the way, another thing that was coming through, why we have more masculine energy coming through here right now, is because the Sea Otter person, this was the insight that I was getting. So the Sea Otter person is coming out as more of a feminine energy, also with this Neptune. Well, Neptune is not feminine energy in itself, but whatever, just this is the energy that I'm getting. The Sea Otter person is coming through as a more feminine energy, whereas the B person is coming through more as a masculine type of energy. I feel like the Sea Otter person has gotten in touch with, I wanted to say mastered, but of course, like, you never really master any type of energy in life, like not the masculine, not the feminine. The C other person has gotten a lot, has done a lot of inner masculine healing. Even if the C other person is a woman, even if they're non-binary, whatever it is, the C other person has done a lot of inner healing of their divine masculine energy. Whereas the B person has not done much inner divine feminine healing. Like they still have a lot of trouble with feminine energy, with like their own feminine energy. And that's also, if you find that the B person is like scorning or being like very avoidant towards feminine energy and feminine qualities and traits in general, that's because they're very uncomfortable with their own feminine qualities and traits. If they judge other people for being angry or for being emotional, that's because they judge themselves for that, and they might again not even be aware of this. From a 5D perspective, it's very clear that you guys are not on the same page, on the same level. And this is not to say that one person is on a better, higher, that one person's better than the other. This is just two different planes of existence. There's two very different energies. This is not all negative, by the way. Like this, you guys are meant to go through these things and realize this is currently not a balanced situation. This is currently not something that is easy flowing and equally giving. This is definitely something that is literally like two such different energies that they just can't coexist without clashing. There is a lot of positive energy towards the end of after 2 5s. Like in the 3D energies, we have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Coins, and then we come across the Page of Coins, the 9 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, and the 6 of Wands, which are all very, very positive, beautiful, like joyful energies. After these 2 5 cards, which 5s are all about change and about pain and about sorrow and about like turbulent, changes and transformations. Well, transformation not necessarily, but just change, tumultuous changes. There is this, I'm hearing like breaking free, reconnecting with your inner child and reconnecting with like naive, innocent, beautiful, pure energy, and find emotional satisfaction within, I just heard like whatever you want. Since this is clarified, like it's clarifying the magician. The magician is literally about like you can manifest anything that you want. You have everything inside of you. Like you just have to pick and choose something and just go for that, and you can achieve that. The 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups coming through is really all about just finding this. I'm seeing like, I'm having this image of someone just like coming out of water for air in a very like cleansed, refreshed type of energy. There is definitely, with this 3 of Cups and the 6 of Wands, a very big chance that you guys will eventually, like a little bit more down the road, while you both have gone through your own individual processes, you guys will likely come together and come out victorious of this situation of separation and energetic disconnect and detachment from each other. Because the 3 of Cups is all about like coming together what is the word? Meeting up again, or what is it, like just coming together. And of course it sounds kind of dirty, but that's not what I meant. And the 6 of Wands look like this dude is having the time of his life, man. Like it's just like, yeah, life's good. And I feel like for a lot of you, since this 6 of Wands is coming out below the 2 of Cups, I feel like for a lot of you this is like, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys, because of course like I have no reason to like tell you something that I'm not seeing, but I do feel like for most of you, for a lot of you, you will, I mean, things can change, nothing is set in stone, but I do feel like for a lot of you, this is not meant to develop into something more than a friendship. What I am seeing though is that you guys are in for a lot of transformation, a lot of change within yourselves, and you're in for this reawakening in a not necessarily so spiritual way, but just like in a refreshment, like coming out of the storm. I'm hearing, which is interesting because we also have the storm card here. But you guys will sort of like come back together as friends and appreciate each other in different ways that you perhaps, like, this could literally be like down the year, like down the road, like a couple years down the road, or just like in the further future. and just realize like, wow, like we have gone through some stuff and we really had this very intense, interesting connection with each other, and it all went for the best, because I can see now looking back why this had to happen and what this gave me. So I'm so grateful for the experience that we've had. Like, if this could also literally be like some type of like unhealthy kind of relationship of the past that, I mean, this is a reading about like, is this friendship going to turn into more? So it would be, I mean, you could still like be looking for something and clicking on something else and coming across a different message, but yeah, there's definitely altogether this message of like, things are going as they are, and it's okay if we don't come together in that sense, and it will all make sense in the end, if that makes sense. We're already at 41 minutes, so we're just going to take channel messages, because that was all that I was getting for you. I'm going to take some channel messages and then take some advice, and then lastly we're going to take moonology, predictions and advice, and then I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do in the extended, honestly. I might need to pause real quick and think about that. I might do what is next for this connection. I feel like I'm gonna do that rather than 18 plus stuff, because it doesn't feel relevant here. Yeah, I think I will do what is next in this connection, like in the near future, like what you can expect. Or should I do, is this person gonna reach out? Damn, I don't know. Well, let's just pull these cards and see what is. Okay, what would this person... What? Okay, wait, no. Okay, pause. What? I'm going to pull the cards from both perspectives, okay? So I'm going to pull cards like channel messages from the B person towards the C other person, and then I'm going to pull cards from what the C other person would say to the B person. What would the B person say to the C other person right now, if they could be completely honest? What would the B person say right now to the... Ah, there you go. You trigger me. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We already had established that. Thank you for the confirmation, though. What else would the B person say to the C other person? Please. Do I have to take that? I don't know. It didn't come out, so we're just not going to take that. What would the B person say to the C other person, please? I feel like they're giving the C other person the silent treatment. I feel like for a lot of you that will be the case. This is also being reflected right now in the cards, because it's like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to say anything. I got nothing to say to you, which again is not true. Okay, look at this. So, ooh, don't wait for me. Yeah, this person might be in such a state in which they're like, yeah, I don't want to connect at this time. I don't want to, like, they might be in a state in which they're just ignoring all the feelings below that they have and just be like, yeah, like it's fine, like whatever, like just whatever, and then keep going on with their day and keep themselves busy to not think about that. Does that make sense? I feel ashamed. Yeah, they feel ashamed about their emotions, their emotional outbursts, perhaps sometimes. They feel ashamed. And I don't know if they're aware of the fact that they're even ashamed about these emotions, but they have some trouble with expressing, with displaying emotion. What else would this person say to the C other person, please? Your love is safe with me. I feel like this is like a more message of the higher self. Like, your love is safe. Your love is safe with me. On a deeper soul level, I am so confused. Yeah, we know this person is definitely very confused about what the hell is going on, about their feelings, about what is happening, about where this other person stands. So much has changed since I met you. Oh yeah, for damn sure. With all those triggers, definitely the C other person has triggered a lot within the B person, and a lot of change and a lot of just a lot of things. What would the C other person say to the B person if they could be? Oh, this is too many. Okay. Try number 2. What would the C other person say to the B person if they could be? I'm gonna take these. I'm drowning in my own thoughts. I don't feel necessarily like they're drowning, but they're definitely thinking about it a lot. Like, they're definitely being very aware and conscious and spending a lot of time and energy about these dynamics. I want more of you. Yeah, there's definitely for sure like a desire to be. Whereas this person is definitely more avoidant and more turning away. This C other person is low key. Even though they are focusing on themselves, they definitely do have a desire to be in connection with this person, truly. This isn't going anywhere. Yeah, but at the same time, indeed, there's this realization of like this, for as the energies are right now, this is literally not going anywhere. So there's this melancholy, but also this clarity and this grounded energy from the C other person. What else would the C other person say to the B person if they could be completely honest at this time? I feel so small. Yeah, they might just sometimes need, like, with this one, I'm getting more like I need affection sometimes, and I just wish that the B person would be more expressive to me and be kinder and nicer. Which is, it's a pity if people have to be harsher or like, you know, avoidant and holding back. But, you know, you shouldn't be asking those people for displaying softness and sweetness, because it's not that hard, and if they don't want to do it, then that's all that you need to know. You excite me. Yeah, there's definitely the C other person might be very tied, like very, very attracted to the B person, because it just, the chaos that they've brought feels like home. Like if the C other person grew up in a very chaotic home, it might just bring up feelings of familiarity in that sense. Yeah, which is, I believe it's called like wound bonding or wound trauma bonding or something like that. What else would the C other person say to the B person if they could be completely honest? What would the C other person say to the B person? What does the C other person want to say to the B person? Come on, one more. What does the C other person want to say to the B person? I'm stuck in the past. This is, I don't feel like this is what the C other person would say. I feel like more with this message specifically, it's like, I know that you're stuck in the past, because the C other person does not feel like they're stuck in the past at all. But yeah, feel free to flip-flop these messages. These are, of course, like very, very personal, very specific. So especially with channel messages, it's important to use your own discernment. But let's see what Moonology has to say about this situation. What insight do you have about the situation, please? Oh, that is a lot, but this one is, oh, look at this. The answers you need are coming, full moon and Gemini. So communication might be coming with this person, which will be interesting to see into the extended, which I guess we will look into what is it coming like in the near future for this connection. And you said, oh, look at this, communication is key, new moon in Gemini. Okay. And then we have, it's time to take action with new moon in Aries. So this is a sign for you watching that if you do feel called to initiate a conversation with this person, if you feel like this person is ready, if you feel like it's a good idea, like it might be a good idea to do so, you will know if that's the case, okay? Like if you don't feel the need to actually go towards this person at this time, then don't do it. Like, you know what's best for you. Okay, so advice for the B person, please. What's some advice for the B person? Oh, we have, you hold the key to an awakened life, set yourself free, 41. Yeah, this is just a reminder of the fact that if you are at rock bottom right now, it means that the only way is up from there, and you have the potential and the opportunity to go as high to like the same extent to which you have gone deep into the darkness. Does that make sense? Like the amount of darkness that you're feeling, that is the same amount of light that you have the potential of feeling. What about the other person? Like those wounds and triggers are not there for nothing. Let's put it that way. That's one of my favorite things to say. Like it's not there for nothing. What advice do you have for the other person? Attune to the call, tune in and turn on. Yeah, just keep tuning into yourself, keep tuning into like perhaps your spirit guides, like your angels, whatever it is that you feel like you want to connect to. Universe is listening for sure. Let yourself be guided. Get in touch with those higher guidance systems, because you do have access to them more easily than what you think, pile 2. If that was you, if you were not, then I'm sorry. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, for letting me read your cards. I really loved reading this. I really hope it gave you some type of insight or clarity. In the extended, I want to confirm we will look into what is going to happen within the near future within this connection. So what you can expect within this connection in the near future. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Definitely feel free to leave me a comment down below letting me know how this resonated, as it means, per usual, everything to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. Also, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as that really helps a girl out with the algorithm here on YouTube. And thank you so much for being here again. I will see you either in the extended or in the next one. Bye. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this beautiful little white calcite right here, that girl here found personally. Very proud of that. And the White Sage Tarot, this is going to be a reading, and what we are going to do is we are going to ask the question, is this friendship that you're currently thinking about with the person that is on your mind, that you're inquiring about, is it going to develop into a more? So if you skipped the intro, I'm going to explain very quickly a little bit what we're going to do. We are going to do a person A versus person B format. So it will be up to you to decide and find out who is you and who is your other person. Who is the other person? Of course, you should be able to identify at least your own energy. And if you cannot find your energy in these cards and these words that I'm going to channel for you, then I guess this is just not your pile. Use your own discernment as per usual. We will, with these pre-shuffled oracles, we are going to look into essentially like the energy that currently exists between the two of you, as well, like individually, separately, as well as of the connection itself. And then afterwards with the tarot, we are going to dive a little bit more in depth and ask and focus on the question, will this develop into more? Now, what I've done in the previous piles is I took the first row of tarot cards that came out as like to signify the 5D energy. So like if, you know, the divine, like what the divine plan is for you guys essentially. And the clarifiers, the second row of tarot cards, is going to indicate the 3D energy. So like where you guys are actually going in this physical material reality, okay? If that doesn't make sense, just stick around and you will find out when we're talking about that. And afterwards, we are going to take some advice as well as channel messages from your person to you at this time. And then we are going to take it over to the extended, and we will look into the 18 plus sexual naughty energy that exists, or that would exist if you guys, if and when you guys would go towards that type of dynamic together, which is very exciting. I have been enjoying doing these readings a lot. Now, a little disclaimer, I have done something different for pile 2 for the extended, because it was just not applicable, turned out, as I was doing the reading. So yeah, my plan is to do an 18 plus reading for the extended. If the plan changes, if it's not an 18 plus reading at the end, after all, I will just let you know, of course, so you know what you're purchasing or renting before you're actually doing that. And yeah, enough babbling now. Let's see what we have here for you. Now, for person A, we have the dragon with supernatural. Then we have Saturn with feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard, work hard. Learn hard, work, and patience. We have number 50 with under a spell. We have the third eye chakra with faith. We have arrows with number, what is that? 71. Can you guys see it if I place it there? Yeah. And then for the connecting energies, we have Yod. And for this card specifically, I asked what is an aspect or like some type of energy or dynamic between the two of you that is like uplifting and helping and aiding this connection. And we got discernment with number 20. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. And for this card specifically, for the connecting energies, I asked what is blocking or challenging or hindering in some sort of way this connection. And for you, we got friendship with I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Now for person B, we have the Black Jaguar with Old Soul. Walk through life with confidence and grace. You have power from beyond the world. Focus on what you really want. You can create your dreams. We have the 12th house with spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. We also have number 25 or 7 with gifts to the portal. Then we have the throat chakra with workaholic. And last but not least, for person B, we have the unseen with number 27. Okay, so there's a whole heck of a lot of energies already coming through and messages. What I will start by saying is that this connection has an intensely, insanely powerful spiritual energy, like especially third eye chakra and crown chakra. And both of these people, God, there's just so much that I want to say at one time. Like I'll try to like organize my thoughts a little. But it's really hard when you're channeling and the messages are just like rolling in like that. Both these people are very similar to each other. Astrologically speaking, you might have, well, first of all, we have Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius. Then we also have the 12th house, which is the ruler of Pisces. Doesn't have to be astrologically relevant, but you guys might find that you have like a very interesting synastry chart. You might have similar placements. You might have, just astrologically speaking, it might be very fitting, like either complementary signs. So that would be like Aries and Libra, like Virgo and Pisces, or like Taurus and Scorpio, you know, the opposites, opposite signs, or you might indeed have some similar placements to each other. This doesn't have to be, but you guys feel like you're basically at the same level in some sort of way. And the dynamic between these two people is very interesting because both these people are old souls. I know that we have the old soul like on this side specifically. But like even just these two animal cards are just like so high vibe and so like of powerful spiritual energy. It's just insane. Where do we start? Do we start by the connecting energy? So we have Yod. I feel like both people, you guys might be wondering, like talking to each other and wondering if you guys have had things like past lives together. And I feel like somewhere you guys know that that's the case, but at the same time, your human brains will be like, yeah, but is that even real? Like there might be some type of, I feel like between the two of you, there's such like deep spiritual awareness, but at the same time, you're still human beings, and it's not that you're like completely living in the spirit realm all the time. There might be some type of doubts and uncertainties and insecurities about like, is this true what we're feeling? Like, is this soul connection that we're feeling with each other like real, or are we just making it up and like blah, 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 which is also reflecting in how, like in the very question that you're posing yourself, like, is this friendship going to develop into something more? I feel like neither of you are attached to that question necessarily. It's not like you guys are actively sort of like crushing on each other and being completely in love with each other and be like, oh my god, I wish I could like connect in a romantic / sexual way with this person, and I wish we could like, end up together, and then like this person might be the one. It's there's not a lot of attachment to this question. It's more like this connection is so interesting and so different than anything else that you've ever experienced or ever witnessed. It's just like something else. It's literally just like something else. It feels just so alien yet so real and grounded. That you guys like might be wondering like, is this connection just happening like this because we are sort of like finding the other, like our perfect other half or something like that? There's just this wondering about it. Without too much pressure or too much worry or too much, indeed like attachment to the outcome or anything. But it's just like this inevitable asking this question, since you guys do have this very extremely special connection to each other. I'm going to say I am getting a little bit of Scorpio vibes here, and also a little bit more, like, I feel like the Black Jaguar person is a little bit more, first of all, they're a little bit more hard to read into, which is, I feel like that's how the dragon person feels about the Black Jaguar person. Like, they might just not be sure all the time about what the hell is going on within them. Not in a bad way, just like in a very intriguing, interesting type of way. But I'm getting Earth vibes from this Black Jaguar person. So Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, but also a little bit of Scorpio. And from the dragon person, I am getting quite some Pisces vibes. This could be like even Pisces Venus or like a Pisces stellium. You guys, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys had some type of like 12th house or 8th house or 7th house type of synastry. Let's see. I feel like you guys are very aware that there is a very specific purpose, like a very specific thing that you might have even been able to pinpoint and to name. Like, it's okay if not, like, maybe that's just like future energy or anything like that, but I feel like you guys know that there's a very specific purpose to this connection. It could differ, but I'm getting that for a lot of you it has to do something with like safe connections, safe relationships, and uncovering your wounds. It's like healing, but in a beautiful, light, positive, calming, soothing way. It's not healing through triggers. I don't feel like these two people will like badly trigger each other a lot, and I don't feel like, and this is not to say that you will never trigger each other, that you will never have like disagreements or like fights or whatnot, but I'm just saying that most of the time there will be such a good syntony and such good compassion and willingness to understand each other, that it really just makes both of you feel very safe in this connection. There might still definitely be moments in which you are indeed like either triggered or like saddened or like disappointing one another or whatever. Like, there might be some little glitches here and there, but those are not like, they're not overwhelming. They're not overtaking the rest of the connection. They're just like little glitches indeed, and you guys are aware of that. And if anything, you're very aware that you have like an opportunity when those things happen. You have an opportunity to show up for each other, to set boundaries with one another, to basically show the other person that you care. Essentially, there's definitely this beautiful, mutually like feeding into each other on the same. It's like effortlessly reciprocating energy. It's not a hard type of connection. It's not difficult. Like, this is literally one of those connections that you're like, wow, connections can be this easy flowing, this comfortable, and this they can feel this safe and loving. And I feel like that for most of you is like the purpose that this connection is serving in this lifetime for you guys, which is indeed of like showing you how positive and how beautiful and how safe a connection can feel. I feel like these two people struggle in their personal lives with quite, it could be like similar things, but I feel like sometimes you guys for each other like show up in some type of like spirit guide type of way. So like whenever the dragon person is struggling with something, like the Black Jaguar will just like come in and be like bringing so much wisdom and bringing so much comfort and bringing so much like encouragement that the dragon person finds relief, and vice versa. Like if the Black Jaguar person is struggling with someone, I guess also with someone, but with something, the dragon person might also start showing up for the Black Jaguar instead of like hold space for the Black Jaguar. Like, there's this very beautiful mutually feeding into each other type of energy. I do feel like the Black Jaguar person, and we'll get into the dragon person in a minute, but the Black Jaguar person, there's a lot about, like, I'm not gonna lie, this person has quite some hard energy to read it in, and I usually find that this is with Scorpio placements. It's really hard, which is of course a very Scorpio placements or 8th house placements, but it's very reflective of the energy of Scorpio, which is, you know, all about they can be quite untrusting or like not showing too much of themselves, quite mysterious in that type of sense. But like, there is something, like, we have the workaholic card, we have the gifts to the portal card, which this card in the guidebook, it's all about like putting in the work and putting in the work and putting in the work and never seeing, or like it's seemingly like it seems that you never get to see the fruits of your labor. It's like 7 of Pentacles type of vibe. for those of you who are very familiar with tarot too. And it's like, this card is also about making efforts and feeling like other people don't see them, or like that people don't notice these efforts. And we also have the unseen card. So like these three cards just like reinforce this very specific mechanisms that honestly, like, what happens also oftentimes in while you're asking a tarot reader, like an energy reader, to channel energy, there might be some messages that come through to me or to a reader that don't make sense to the reader at all, but they have to, like, they will make sense to you personally. So if this rings some type of bell within you about either yourself or your person, depending on who you believe that this side is, then definitely, you know, again, use your own discernment. Like, it's really hard for me to translate this into like a cohesive, coherent type of energy right now. But there is something indeed about this person putting in a lot of work. Perhaps they might also indeed just like in their personal life be like either an artist or like be an entrepreneur of some sort and have their own type of work going on, and they just work a lot because it's their passion. But at the same time, it might also be hard to discern when it's time to take a rest, when it's time to, you know, just chillax for a second, because it might just also lose sight or lose track of the progress that they're actually making. Like, they might feel like they're not succeeding or they're not making any progress, and that's just because they're looking into it so much, like every single day, that they don't notice the progress. It's like when you have like a little sibling or a child, and day to day you don't notice the growth that they're making, like physically, but then you look at like a picture from like 2 months ago and you're like, holy crackers, like they've grown up so fast. That type of energy, but with their work then. I do feel like the Black Jaguars person's love language might be gifts, and they might also like give a lot of gifts to the dragon person in some way or another. Either they do it in a very subtle way in which like the dragon person doesn't even know that this is a gift that came from the Black Jaguar person, or this energy that I'm feeling is just to say like either the dragon person doesn't really notice why, or like doesn't really understand why the Black Jaguar person is giving all these gifts, so like giving all this energy to them. But overall, it's very interesting because I'm getting like little bits of information, but then I can't get below that for some reason, which again, like this happens so often with Scorpio placements, it's actually ridiculous, and it's kind of frustrating because I want to just read this person's energy, but they're just not giving a lot. They're just not giving a lot. The Black Jaguar person might definitely be someone who, like both of you, by the way, I'm getting like very much witchy vibes and like witchcraft type of vibes, like whatever that manifests for you practically. You know, there's a whole lot of types of witchcraft. Like, you could be a dancer and say that that's witchcraft. Like whatever you identify, like whatever you feel like is your craft or your magic, whatever type of magic you're working. There's so much. Oh my god. But yeah, definitely. I'm also, by the way, I feel this strong sense with this pile, and it doesn't have to resonate with everyone. Like, it literally will not resonate with everyone, but I'm getting strong sapphic vibes from these two people. Like, this doesn't even have to be like two women who are into women as well, but like I'm definitely getting that this would very likely to be two women. And if not, like it still could literally, like, these are collective readings. It still can apply to you if you're either like two men or two non-binary people, or like whatever else type of combination of genders and things. But I'm getting very strong spiritual feminine energies for sure. That being said, we'll just move on to the dragon person, because honestly I'm not getting much else from the Black Jaguar person. It's insane. It's very annoying. The dragon person has a very strong dreamy type of energy to them. By the way, both people might have some type of like psychic gifts. Like, both people might have either clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance. They might be very much able to go into like other spaces and realms, whatever, in like their dream realms, or like meditation. This could also be like either one. Just like applied how it applies to you personally. This dragon person has a very strong sensual, sexual energy. I'm getting a Lilith vibe from this person, but at the same time, it's not It's not only like, it's not sexual, like it's not a femme fatale type, well, a little bit, but at the same time it's very sweet, very dreamy, very cute, very innocent with this under a spell card. I do feel like this dragon person sometimes gets a little like maybe shy, like they might have this energy in which they're like type of blushing at what the black jagger says or does or gives to them. Like they might just be just like feeling like they're under a spell, like, oh my god, like what are you doing to me? I feel so fluttered, like their heart flutters whenever the black jagger like gives them a gift or like says something to them that is like specifically touching or something like that. Um, and definitely this dragon person has a lot of faith, quite literally, in this connection, in the sense that they really trust that this connection is something that is safe. And I'm feeling called to say that this person indeed, like there is some quite strong energy of overcoming burdens, um, overcoming hurdles, overcoming hardships. Like again, I want to say it would not surprise me if these people had both some type of eighth house or Scorpio energies. Um, Sometimes with this discernment card, I do feel like because these people are so similar but at the same time very different from one another, it might be hard sometimes when you're like in a conversation with each other, like discern what is truly your feeling, what is just like something that is coming from the outside. Um, so it might be, for instance, if you're talking about some type of problem that you're dealing with, like one person might be reacting like super emotionally, super intensely about something, and the other person might be very receptive to that and be like, oh my god, so this is actually a big deal. And it might be really hard to understand what your boundaries are in that sense. Um, this doesn't have to be for everyone, by the way. This is just something that came through real quick um, just now. This person, the dragon person, definitely loves being admired physically. Like they might care a lot about, and not in a superficial way, they just might have a lot of appreciation for like aesthetics and pretty dresses and pretty clothing, like beautiful makeup and like doing their hair and just like dancing in a very sensual and sexual way. This dragon person is definitely a very sensual person, but I feel keep being called back to the Saturn energy, which I do feel like there is quite some. It wouldn't surprise me if this was like a rather new type of connection, like a not so old type of connection, something that just recently came into being, into existence. But at the same time, it would also not surprise me if you guys have not physically met each other yet. And that is because I'm getting like this very high vibe spiritual energy, but it feels very real and very clear, like you guys have a very clear idea of what this is, but there's so little like grounded earth energy that I'm feeling in this connection, which literally could just mean it doesn't feel like it's an ungrounded wishy-washy woo-woo type of connection. It just really feels like perhaps you guys have not met each other like personally either at all or often. There's definitely something about that, which also would make sense that it's easier to open up like via like text message or whatever than vocally speaking. So that would make a lot of sense that you guys have this deep knowledge like within each other's like inner world, and then have this like highly spiritual like connection with each other, because it might just be easier for you guys to talk about like deep personal things since you guys might be like texting a lot or something like that. um there is definitely an element of I don't know where you're coming from, especially about this dragon person. This dragon person has quite some baggage in the past that they may not have disclosed yet fully to the black jagger person, because I'm getting that there's a lot about the past of both, to be honest, because there is like maybe this energy that I'm feeling, that it's like very hard to read deeper or like broader, if that makes sense, into these people, especially the black jagger person. Is just indicative of the fact that you guys don't know that much about each other's practical lives, or just a lot about each other's past. Like you might be very much aware of each other's triggers and of each other's like traumas and things like that, and where you're at right now in life and each other's current energy. But there is this element of like, there's still so much that I don't know about you, if that makes sense. Now, I feel called to focus on this friendship card right now, which is interesting because like this was of course like I was asking about like the struggle or the challenge or the hurdle, the whatever it is that is blocking this from sort of like moving into something else. And I'm not getting that this is a huge blockage. This is just like a beautiful friendship. And I'm hearing like it's okay the way that it is. Like you're again, like there's this feeling of like not being too attached to the outcome. Like it's not even a blockage. It's just like this is where we are at right now, and who knows, maybe in the future, maybe we still have to go through some other things before we can come together. Like maybe we're not supposed to like be in a romantic way together. Like this is just, again, this is such a peculiar, particular, almost a little strange and alien, like one of a kind, unique, special type of connection that you don't even know if this falls within like the binary of a friendship and or like a romantic connection. It might also be the case that you guys get very sensual together and very like emotionally vulnerable and like to a level in which like it would be, you know, normally accepted to happen within a romantic like committed type of relationship. But at the same time, it might just be, for some of you, you guys will have like, will be like, I'm getting also, for some of you, maybe asexual vibes. Take that as it resonates, but maybe this just means that perhaps some of you have like the whole package of like the connection of what a romantic relationship would look like, except for the physical sexual dimension of it, if that makes sense. So like you guys are very like checking up on each other all the time, and then talking a lot and being very vulnerable with each other and taking care of each other, and just like being just very close with one another. But then there's like this other aspect that you guys have either like not yet explored, or you're just not interested in exploring, or you just don't have, I don't know, it just didn't happen or something like that. There's definitely a very, very big healing component to this connection. I would say we are just going to go into the tarot now, because this is all that I'm getting. It's kind of vague to me. Maybe it will make a lot of sense to you. I'm just gonna put these out of the way because I don't want to have too many cards on the table. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the 5D energies say about you. And then we are going to, after the tarot, we're going to take advice as well as channel messages from your person, from each side. So whether you are the black dragon or the dragon person, we will get channel messages for each side. So you will hopefully be able to relate to either side. Then we're going to take advice, and then then after we're going to take it over to the extended to, I guess we will just look into the separate energy between the two of you. So that could be either the, like, your first encounter if you haven't had an encounter like that at all. Or this could be like your person's fantasies or wishes and desires about you in that sense. Or just a general, like, 18 plus naughty energy that would exist between the two of you. When and if and when it indeed would go that direction. All my decks are linked down, listed. Why do I keep saying linked? It's not linked. Will be listed down below in the description box as per usual for those of you who are interested. And you can also find a link. That is a link to my Etsy shop if you want to book a personal reading with me, and a whole lot of other stuff in there. Anyways, so what are the 5? I wasn't ready. What is this? Death and the King of Pentacles. You know what? We're just gonna put it back. No, I'm being called to keep it. Okay, we will just keep it. King of Pentacles, the 5D energies of your connection, and Death with number 13, or Scorpio energy, Aguayon. What are the 5D energies about this connection? Like, is this connection going to be developing into something more? We have the Empress. And the 2 of Cups. Okay. We also have the King of Swords and the 9 of Wands, but I'm not going to take those. What's the 5D saying about this connection? Is it supposed to be developing into something more? What is the 5D saying about this connection? We have the 8 of Swords in reverse. This makes so much sense. I'm gonna pull clarifiers for the 3D right away. Okay, so what about the 3D energy of this? Is this being led into being something more than just a friendship? For pile 3, is this... We have Temperance. Number 14, Sagittarius energy. Can you see it? Kind of. Ah! I really don't know how to make, like, these angles better so that you guys can see the cards good. I'm still hoping to get, like, a thing so that you can see it from above. I will at some point. What about the 3D energies of this connection? Is it 8 of Cups? Interesting. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I'm just gonna put this back because I was like a quarter of the deck. What about this Empress card? What about the 3D energies of this connection? Is it going to be something more than a friendship? We have the 9 of Wands. Yeah. What about the 2 of Cups? 3D energies. We have the Ace of Swords. Oh. You guys, this is so interesting. Let me put these in back. And the 8 of Swords in reverse. We have the 4 of Cups. Okay, this is very interesting. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Swords and the King of Wands. What's below that? The Star. So, the first message that I'm getting is like you guys are both kind of like scared to dare to even dream about this, but not in a too intense way. Let's start by the 5D energies, like the higher realm, like your higher selves type of energies of that are kind of ruling over this connection. There is definitely an element of huge transformation with this Death card here coming through, and of indeed this soulmate type of vibe with the 2 of Cups coming through. There is definitely this energy of like you don't have to worry with me. That's what I'm hearing. Like, you don't have to worry with me. No matter what happens, we will still hold each other to like such a high regard, and we'll still give to one another as we can fully. Like, there's this green, I'm being called to notice the green of this 2 of Cups is like pouring from this heart center energy. That keeps coming through to me, this element of wondering, this element of, is this all even real? This 8 of Swords in reverse is really telling me that this is indeed kind of like 8 of Swords energy is all about like being trapped in your mental prison, being trapped by anxieties, like paralysis by analysis, sort of being ruled by your thoughts so much that you get stuck in these like loops of fear and anxiety and all that jazz. The fact that it really wanted to come out in reverse here is just like literally that, like you literally can reverse these processes with one another. Like the purpose, indeed, this is just reiterating what I was getting earlier. This connection is meant to be equally nourishing and nurturing. Like it's like a gift from the universe that is being given to each other through one another. Of this beautiful safety, equally giving, reciprocating type of energy where you can relax. It's like a home type of energy. This is definitely like, no matter which person you are, your person sees you as someone who they will always want to return to, because that is like the homely feeling. What is a homely feeling? Is like a place that you always will want to return to, a place where you can let your guards down and where you can be yourself, like either ugly or beautiful, whatever that you are at that moment. You can just show up as you are. It's a place to get comfortable and to not have to. It's the place where you belong and where you indeed again always will want to return to. It's like the feeling of I have arrived. It's like you're out and about doing things all day and then you get back home and you're like, oh, okay, I can relax now. It's like the end point. I do feel like both these people, again, like it's interesting that we have the Empress energy coming through. That both of you, I feel such calm right now, such calm energy. Because there's this certainty, this security about this connection that is absolutely beautiful and healing. Like I feel very calm in my heart space. Well, what I was about to say is like this Empress. I feel like you guys both are like, you might be like the mom friends to each other. You guys might like encourage each other to like take care of yourselves, um, to embody more of this Venusian, beautiful, pleasant type of energy with each other. Like you might remind each other like to drink more water, to like get outside, to like breathe, to rest when you guys need to rest, to you might just like call each other if you guys see each other personally, like in person. You might call each other and be like, hey, do you want to like take a break today and just like go out in nature and just like, or have a coffee together or something like that. You guys are sort of like encouraging and uplifting each other to embodying all of these different queens, like the Queen of Pentacles, like take care of yourself and your body, go in nature. The Queen of Cups, like take care of your emotions and validate your own emotions, and don't overgive, don't be this, like I feel like you guys might be like romantically involved with other people, like either if you guys are polyamorous or if you guys are like bestie energy with each other, that you guys are indeed just like having other relationships outside of this connection. You guys definitely do talk, like might talk a lot about those things, about like the people that you're dating or that you're seeing or that you're crushing on or whatever. um Knight of Pentacles, interesting. um but there's definitely this it's like the drunk Leo girl in the bathroom in the club at like 2 a.m. It's like this pep talk, this encouraging, this like, you're a queen and you should act like it, and don't, don't take any bullshit from the people, like from the people who treat you as less. That type of energy, like you remind each other of each other's power and of each other's beauty and of each other's healing potential. Um, you remind each other of each other's beauty. That's absolutely beautiful. Um, you guys might need it like in the future if you have not done already. So like you might have a conversation about this like soulmate type of energy that you're feeling. You might talk just very peacefully, just like it might just flow very naturally into talking about like what it like, how do you feel about our connection? Because to me it feels very strange and very spiritual. So like where do we stand? It's not like a conversation where like what are we, like are we gonna date or not, are we gonna like get whatever, but it's just like getting clarity and talking about this, the very nature of your connection. And for sure also talking about like, do you think like we have past lives together, or like perhaps even diving deeper into that, if you haven't already. There's also this Temperance, there is this feeling of like whatever will be, like it's okay, like whatever will be. We would just leave it up to fate, and que sera. Like that's literally what I'm getting with this card and this vibe. So like whatever will be will be. If we have to stay friends forever, it's gonna be fine. And if we have to like get married and get a billion children and 2 cats and 35 puppies, then that's also fine. I'm getting with this Eight of Cups card is that you guys definitely, like it's not at all a negative thing at all. And it's interesting that it came out below the Death card, because like through each other there's definitely this, I keep getting this uplifting energy, but like it's like through each other that you guys are learning indeed to like establish and to even understand what your boundaries are, like what you're willing to take from people and what you're not willing to take from people. You guys know that it's okay to like speak up about these things and about like whatever problems or issues arise with one another. And you're not worried about things ending wrong, because there's just so much trust. And like even if things have to end between the two of you, which I honestly like, there is just this knowing that you guys are meant to be, supposed to be in each other's lives. So but there is definitely this feeling of like, if it has to end, like it's fine. It will just mean that it was just like divine timing, and that we had to learn something from this, and perhaps at some point we will have to let it go, and that's okay. Which doesn't mean that it's not going to be painful if it happens, but it's just like this clarity and this like, it's okay no matter what. And with this Nine of Wands coming out below the Empress, again, like this energy of like, I know you've been through a lot, but don't take any more shit, okay? Pile three, person A, person B, whatever, whoever it is that is giving like the Leo drunk girl pep talk at that moment. There's definitely this acknowledgement from both sides towards each other of like, I know you've gone through so much shit, but now it's like it's time to have a glow up. And you can do it. You're the only one who can give yourself a glow up. You are the only one who can take your power in your own hands, and you are the only one who can save yourself. Like, this is such a beautiful, independent, but still like very much close and connected type of energy. Like, this is literally just like goals. This is absolutely insane. Okay, I want to take channeled messages. Oh, I'm gonna leave this here. I never take this out. What am I doing? Yeah, there's definitely also might be a connection in which you guys are like doing things or saying things or feeling things that you would feel like it's out of character. Out of character, perhaps, or just very unusual for you to be experiencing, which is very freeing. It can be a little scary sometimes, but it's definitely very freeing in that sense. Let's take some advice individually for both parties. What is some advice for the dragon person, please? So curious to see what is going to come through in the 18+ reading, because there's definitely some type of sexual energy here with the arrows card. But it doesn't, it feels very innocent. It feels very pure, very spiritual or something. But okay, what is advice for the dragon person? What is some advice for the dragon person about this situation, please? I need to scratch my nose real quick. What is some advice for the dragon person, please? We have, in the castle of dreams, become altered by the color of your dreams. There's definitely also something about dreaming. Like, if you guys are not already visiting each other, like on the astral. What is this? This was turned over. There's definitely something about that. What would your higher self do? You are divinity in blue jeans. That is like advice for the dragon person. There's a lot also about like pink and blue. So crown chakra energy and throat chakra energy balancing. But yeah, this is definitely, if you are the dragon person watching, this is definitely like a call for you. I don't even feel like this is like advice or something that you have to do, because I feel like you're already doing that. In this state and the energy that I'm reading into now is like getting in touch with your higher self. Literally just like ask yourself, like, what would your higher self do, and embodying your higher self. But yeah, I feel like you're already doing that, pile 3, if you're the dragon person. What about the black jaguar person? What advice do we have for the black jaguar person? We have, you've won the lottery, make room for wonderment. So if you have, there's definitely a call for you, if you are the black jaguar person, to pay attention to this workaholic energy that you're in. Like, you've already had so much success, and success is a mindset. Like, if you think that you're never going to be doing enough, that you haven't done enough today, then yeah, that's definitely going to be a reality. But you know, don't believe every single thought that you have, because your thoughts are not always reflective of reality. Very rarely they are, actually. So what else? What other advice do we have for the black jaguar person before we move on to channeled messages? What advice do you have for the black jaguar person, please? One with the sun, be the light. So much color. This is so cool. I don't feel like I have to like elaborate on that. Like, be the light. Like, you will know what that means. You will know what that means. Okay, so channel messages. We're going to take some channel messages from both sides. And obviously, as per usual, channel messages are very specific, so only take those that do feel like they're for you or from you. I will indeed, in the attempt to make it a little bit easier for you guys, I will pull for both sides, but if you have to flip-flop them, then you will know that, and you will know how to take those. Okay, so what would the dragon person say to the black dragon person if they could be completely honest? Which, I mean, it kind of feels superfluous because you guys already are very, like, straightforward with each other anyways. I'm a mess. Yeah, this dragon person definitely might sometimes very much still struggle. Still struggle a lot with things. But then I can hear the black jaguar person be like, no, you're not a mess. Like, I know it feels like it right now, but you're doing absolutely amazing, honey. Then we have I crave you. This is, I'm not getting it necessarily. Although, since this dragon person is a little bit more of a sexual energy type of person, this definitely could be on a sexual level. But I'm just getting like, I just really crave spending time with you. Because it just feels so good to do that. I don't know who I am. Like, this person definitely might be indeed still trying to, maybe also I don't know who I am always, like, in this human body, because I feel like there's a very deep spiritual awareness from both these people, but this person might sometimes struggle a little bit with, and then I'm getting a little bit with their human self, but I'm getting this vibe again of like the black jaguar person just coming in and embracing, allowing this person also to feel this feeling, like holding space for this feeling, not being like, no, like, you shouldn't be feeling like that, and blah, 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 just like very healthy holding space for each other like that. You inspire me. Yeah, definitely. That guide vibe that I was getting earlier, that you guys definitely inspire each other for growth. Inspire and motivate each other. What else would the dragon person say to the black... No, what would the dragon person... Did I say jaguar? Jaguar, dragon. What would a dragon person say to the black jaguar if they could, please? I just need you to listen. Yeah, this is not even in a worried or like anxious way. Just like I really... Well, there might be something that the dragon person might be dealing with right now, and they really kind of like, if you have been accent, if you are the the jaguar person, if you haven't been talking a lot to this person recently, like they just might be in need of a conversation with you at this time. Okay, what would the jaguar person say to the dragon person? I'm going through so much right now. Oh, you too. Dang, well, of course, we're all going through things at the same time. Always. Perhaps if for some of you guys are not in contact with this person at this moment, that could be. That may just be a confirmation of the fact that you guys both are going through a lot right now, and I don't know what is happening, because that was literally not what this was about. Yeah, I don't know, like, do with that information what you want. I don't have more to give you in terms of that. I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, there's just this vibe of like, I didn't even know that such a connection with you was possible. Like, this is just something that you wouldn't expect. Indeed, it's just like a very surprising, very strange experience to have this type of connection. What else would the black jaguar person say to the dragon person? What would the jaguar person say to the dragon person, please? What would the jaguar person say to the... I am terrified. You are a ray of sunshine. I want more of you. And I'm so torn. Guys, what is going on? This is very unexpected. Like, this is for me. I wasn't expecting this, because it's just very... I don't know what this is about, you guys. I'm sorry. Like, this is not present in the cards at all. Yeah, just take whatever resonates with you personally. Maybe these are specific messages for very specific people at this time. Let's move on to Moonology to see what you guys can expect from this connection. And then we're going to take it over to the 18 plus extended. Okay, Moonology. What do you have for pile 3? Nothing will come out of this situation. Avoid, of course, Moon. What is this about? What is this about? Let me pull a tarot card for that. What is this about? What is this situation? Four of Wands. Okay. Can I have one more, please? One more clarification. This is, oh, we still have the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. We have the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. To clarify, there's nothing will come out of the situation. This is also the 11-11 card. I just think that this means that this is not necessarily meant to develop into something more. My brain is like blanking right now. That's the only thing that I'm getting. But let's see, what else? I want to take 2 more Moonology cards. What else do we have for pile 3, please? We have Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, Full Moon in Leo. And what else? We have Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon. Okay, so this is not helpful. So I guess that for a lot of you, this will just be very different answers. For some of you, this is indeed like just not meant to be developing into something else, into like a committed relationships, because the Four of Wands often talks about like celebration and marriage and things like that. But there's also Believe in the Impossible. So like perhaps this is just not meant to be happening right now, as you probably already were aware. So like take this as a confirmation. This is not meant to be happening right now, but you never know what can happen. This is a beautiful connection in itself, and whatever it is, like whatever will be, will be. I feel like that is just the main message that you should take from this reading. And if something else has to happen in the future, like it will, and it will be clear to you, and you will know. And if right now it's not clear or something like that, then that's just what it needs to be at this time. Pile 3, thank you so much for being here, for letting me read your cards. I'm going to take this over to the extended. Definitely feel free to leave me a comment down below letting me know how this resonated, as per usual, as it means everything to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. And also feel free to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps with the algorithm. And thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you either in the extended or in the next one. Bye.